According to Miyamoto Mushashi, the ancient samurai warrior, there are only 3 methods to forestalling your opponent. But what the hell is forestalling your opponent? It means to surprise your adversary, to catch them off guard, so that you can defeat them quickly and relatively easily, and hopefully without taking too much damage, which is what Gracie Jiu Jitsu in particular is all about. So what are these 3 methods? The first is to forestall your opponent by attacking. This basically means just to rush in, catch him off guard before he's even had a chance, before he even realizes he's in the fight. So let's say your samurai adversary jumps off his horse, he steps onto the battlefield, but he's still finishing his little cup of green tea. Before he's even finished taking the final gulp, you've charged in and you run him through with the sword. Job done. The second method is to forestall him as he attacks. So with this one, you feign weakness to draw your opponent on, to get him overconfident so that he charges in, eager to finish you off. He's expecting you to be in one place. As he charges in, you rush forward to catch him off guard, meeting him before he expects it. And again, you run him through with the sword, finish him, job done. The third method is to attack as he attacks. So you attack confidently and with powerful intent, aiming your attack, aiming your sword for his vulnerable areas, the vulnerable areas in his armor. So it's all very good to diatribe on this and discuss this and intellectualize this and theorize about what it all means, but how does it look in the real world? How does it look in practice? Well, luckily for us, we have fantastic examples of all 3 of these methods demonstrated by Rickson Gracie in his Vale-Tudo fights. So let's look at the first method, where you attack preemptively. You attack before your opponent even realizes he's in the fight. One of Rickson's fights in Japan, he's fighting, I believe, a Japanese gentleman. I think he was some sort of judoka, had his gi pants on and a black belt on. The bell goes, Rickson crosses the ring very casually, his arms are down, he sort of saunters across the ring like he's taking a stroll in the park, and this kind of catches his opponent off guard. You can see the sort of, from his body language, he's a little bit surprised by Rickson's casual approach. When Rickson's in range, he suddenly launches into his attack, throws the stomp kick, throws the pisau, clinches, takes the guy down very quickly, passes his guard, strikes. I think it was a rear naked choke from the rear mount that he finished him with. Beautiful display. The second methodology to forestall your opponent as he attacks, we've got 2. The first is Rickson fighting Rai Zulu, a big, huge guy, big street fighter from Brazil. This is going way back in the day. Rickson's I think it was his first, he had 2 fights against this guy. They were his first and second Vale-Tudo fights. They're spectacular things, like they're in a huge arena in Brazil, thousands of people cheering, like the atmosphere must have been electric. And the guy is so big, Rickson can't just rush in whilst the guy is ready for him. He has to get the guy to rush him. He has to get the guy into a place where he's not expecting to be caught by Rickson's attack. So Rickson hangs back, lets the big man charge him. As the big man takes his first step, Rickson charges across the ring to meet him preemptively. They clinch and the fight goes from there. Another example, the second example, is Rickson versus David Lewicki, another big guy. 6'5", 6'6", big striker. And Lewicki was being very tentative. And again, Rickson couldn't risk rushing in and getting clobbered by this huge heavyweight guy who outweighed him by easily 80, 90 pounds. He had to get the big guy to charge him. So he was throwing these little jabs. He was using the pisau, the stomp kick, to aggravate, to poke the bear, as it were, to get the big guy to rush him with an attack, which eventually he did. As the big man rushed, as Lewicki rushed, Rickson dove in with his clinch, took him down. Happened twice. Second time, the first time they both fell out of the ring. The second time, Rickson managed to take him down, clinch, take him down, gift wrap, finished him with strikes. Beautiful display. The third method, the third of Musashi's method to attack as your opponent attacks, we can see this in Rickson's fight against Masakatsu Funaki. I think that's his name. A very esteemed Japanese Vale-Tudo fighter, Pancrase fighter. I think he was the founder of Pancrase. And they fought in 2000. The bell goes. Both men cross the ring very competently to meet in the middle. And Rickson already knows what his opponent's vulnerable area is. He already knows exactly where he's going to attack. He's going to use his stomp kick against Funaki's knee. Funaki's knee is the leading edge of his attack, and Rickson's leg, his stomp kick, his pisau, is his longest range weapon. So he can confidently close the distance, knowing that he has an advantage in terms of attacking his opponent's weak spot, which he does, manages to clinch, and then the fight goes from there. So there we have three fantastic examples of Musashi's methodology in action. But how does this look in jiu-jitsu sparring, where there isn't often any striking involved? So again, what are we trying to do with these methods? With what is Musashi's philosophy primarily about? It's about surprising your opponent so you can steal the initiative, steal the advantage. Now, you may not get an immediate finish, although sometimes that might happen, but you may steal an inch, you may steal a dominant position. Again, jiu-jitsu is a game of inches. It's a game of incrementally getting superior positions over your opponent so that you can then finish them. In a jiu-jitsu roll, this may look like, if I'm on top of someone and I'm threatening the choke, I'm going in the mount position, I'm going for the choke, they're defending effectively. Whilst they're busy defending the collar choke, I swing around, catch an armbar. Or we clap hands. The moment we clap hands, I charge in an attack. Or we clap hands, I fall back, feigning weakness, and allow them to press their attack. And in so doing, they fall into my guard. I'm pretty confident with my guard. So these are these are some examples of how you can use Musashi's methodology, this strategy, these tactics in jiu-jitsu combat. And the varieties of surprising your opponent are infinite. So there you are, guys. I hope this video helps you think a little bit differently about how to engage in sparring, in competition. The techniques are one level. The higher levels of combat are the tactics and the strategy. When you start to understand these things in the broader sense and how they apply to us as individuals, and you also see them in large-scale conflicts. In every battle throughout history, generals have tried to apply these very same principles of trying to surprise their opponents. One-on-one combat is no different. So if you can figure out a way to surprise your opponent, your odds of securing victory become much higher.